It's loading right now.
Chance, get in here.
I got a book somebody sent me called Post-Corona. From Crisis
Already.
to Opportunity. Yeah, it's from Crisis to Opportunity. I haven't read it yet, so I'm gonna try to get a hold of it over the weekend. I mean, I got the book. I just got to sit down and focus on taking a read.
Yeah.
You're on.
We live?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna get over there.
Mhm.
Okay.
Good morning.
Focus on. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah.
We're live on YouTube and Zoom.
No. I'll leave.
Just YouTube, but I mean, we're using Zoom to go back and forth with information. Good morning, everybody. Let's see if they start dialing in here. We'll get started here in a few minutes. Where's it show? Oh, it hasn't come over yet. Yeah,
It says they're in there. They're just not talking.
I don't see anybody there.
I know.
Oh,
See
well,
up there?
yeah, I see people. But
They're
honestly,
shy this morning.
yeah, you guys are just taking, you're afraid to jump on with your name. Let's give it a few more minutes. A lot to go over this morning. Tony's, this is on number 2 of the training of 3. The third one will be next week on Wednesday night, 6 p.m. West Coast time. Maybe you got to turn something on because there's no way that those, honey, I don't think there's, trying to figure out who's on right now.
Yeah, they're on.
Hmm.
Hold on.
Yeah. Something's not turned on there.
28 people are on.
Yeah, there's 28 on, but nobody's, can't see who signed in. Okay. So a lot going on in the company. If you guys have not seen it, you go onto your app and you pull up the delivery service. You'll see that there's no longer a login that you have to get into before you can order. It's direct. So that page says enter your delivery address. You put that in, click on it. So if it's Nashville, Tennessee, or any of the markets we're working that are open, you'll see the list of restaurants that are signed up, and then there's surrounding markets also because it only goes out like 5 miles. We're going to set it up to go a little further, but so that's all working and good. So real happy with that. We got a couple more little things we're working on, nothing major. So all systems are go right now. There's nothing holding back. We've had a number of people over the last week and a half that were engaged with the company, then disengaged, obviously, because we weren't ready for them. And they're slowly starting to come back. Some leaders in there, some drivers in there. So we have a host of people that are starting to come back. So as we start to amp up these markets, you'll see some of the interesting things we're working on. Maybe we'll make some announcements next week, but we're slowly grinding out, and a lot of that's attributed to Tony because he's given the guidance to us about how to handle deliveries. It's not that easy. So I'm going to turn this over to Tony and let him go through his presentation, and we can take a few minutes after the call if I can find if anybody shows up on the list.
There's people on the chat I saw, so I want to welcome everybody to Coffee with Bob, and I'm honored to be able to slide in here with Bob and do our morning training, and we're going to go through the duplication training, and you know, honestly, when you talk about success in affiliate marketing and in business, it really is about creating leverage and creating duplication. And, you know, we talked a little bit about recruiting, or quite a bit about recruiting on Wednesday, last Wednesday. And, you know, we're going to continue on that same path to finishing up with a duplicated organization and leveraging yourself to where you've got leaders in your organization that are getting restaurants, leaders that are bringing in drivers, leaders that are introducing customers to the Trip Delivers app. And, as those leaders build that organization of drivers, customers, and restaurants, you're making an override off of that. And it creates some pretty substantial income if you do it the right way. So I'm going to share my screen real quick, get into our training slides here, and let's start from the beginning. So this will be part 2 of how to duplicate. And, really the key to duplication, before I get into the training, it's funny in affiliate marketing and networking, always people are talking about, the key is to find leaders, but nobody really tells you how to do it. And, we'll go over in this duplication training how you find leaders. And it's more not necessarily how you find leaders, but how they find you. When you put your net out and you start to attract people and catch people in your net, there's certain people with leadership qualities that will just make themselves known. And, when you find those people as you recruit them, one of the first things you want to do, after you recruit them, is you want to educate them. You want to teach them the system, teach them the business, so they can really understand what skill sets it takes to go out and get a restaurant, to go out and get a driver onboarded, to go out and find customers that are going to hit the application, to go out and build a team of other marketers. So the education is really key. And one of the first things I tell people, to utilize when we educate is, really creating personal growth and development, increasing our knowledge, not only on restaurant delivery, but on business in general. You can do that with books. These days, audios, if people are driving or whatnot, I guess less and less people are reading over the years, but with the pandemic, more and more people probably have time to actually open a book instead of listening to a book in their car. But either way, books and audios are a great way to do it. And then we'll discuss kind of the application of that knowledge that we learn from the books and audios and from trainings like this. It's not just getting the information, but it's applying the information that we receive. And some of the best books and audios from an entrepreneurial standpoint, I've been in the business world for over 20 years and, haven't quite hit the billions of dollars in revenue like Bob has, but I've built up quite a few companies that have done hundreds of millions of dollars. So I'm getting there. And the beauty of being able to lock arms with someone like Bob is when you've got someone that's done the billions, then it's possible and you can ride their coattails all the way to it. There's other successful people that have built hundreds of millions and billion-dollar organizations. Robert Kiyosaki's somebody that if you've never read his books, Rich Dad Poor Dad is probably the first one, the starting point for someone that's learning on how to become an entrepreneur, how to become successful, how to create wealth, because there's a difference in making money and being wealthy. And Kiyosaki is one of the best at really explaining that. One of my mentors taught me that years and years ago, 20 years ago. He said, Tony, he said, money is what you make while you're working. Wealth is what you make while you're not working. And, there's a lot of people, if you're a lawyer and you're making, $800 an hour in New York, I mean, you might have a lot of money, but that doesn't necessarily make you wealthy, because if you're not trying a case, if you don't have a new client walk through your doors that's willing to pay you that $800 an hour, you could go from a big case that you're making $800 an hour to that case ends and now you're back to zero. You got to find a new client. And so that's making great money, but it's not wealth. Now, if you invest and you create residual income and you create a business that, you're making $100 an hour, but you don't even have to put in an hour. If you're making $10,000 a month, whether you get out of bed or not, that is wealth. That's profits versus wages. So Rich Dad Poor Dad is a great book to kind of teach that mindset. Stephen Covey wrote a book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's an amazing book on the day-to-day habits that you want to include in your lifestyle to create overall success, not just in business, but in life in general. The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale is a great book on sales. Earl Nightingale is an amazing sales trainer from many, many moons ago. Dale Carnegie, one of my favorite books, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's something that stood the test of time. And again, it works not only in business, but in life in general. An amazing, amazing read. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If you ask some of the most successful people on the planet, one of the books that was I guess, the most impactful to their success level, Think and Grow Rich, is going to come up probably half the time, or maybe even more than half the time they're going to mention that. If you're not familiar with that book, Napoleon Hill, he was basically, Andrew Carnegie is the one that sought him out. He was a journalist and a writer, and Andrew Carnegie was a billionaire, basically the first billionaire documented in the United States. I mean, he was a billionaire when people were riding around in horses and buggies. And I say as a joke, back when $1 billion used to mean something, but I think it still does. But he couldn't figure out how someone like himself, and he came over from Scotland with nothing. His first job was in the steel mills. As a kid, he swept the floors. It's actually the iron mills, mining iron and those factories that were, melting down iron and forging it. And he swept the floors and went from literally, poor and having nothing to a billionaire. And he looked at America as a land of opportunity, and he couldn't figure out why he could go from sweeping the floor of the mill to becoming so successful while other people in America were struggling. And he wanted Napoleon Hill to basically study people like himself, people like Rockefeller, Vanderbilt, J. Paul Getty, and not just successful businessmen, but people like Theodore Roosevelt, people like Thomas Edison. And why were those individuals successful as they were? And they found the formula. That's what Napoleon Hill, he found the formula. And the beauty of it is the same things that created wealth for Rockefeller, the same things that created wealth for Carnegie, are the same principles that created wealth for Bill Gates and for Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, there's really nothing, that's changed as far as success principles. So when you read those success principles, it's the same thing that Alexander the Great used. It's the same thing that the principles that spread the gospel of Jesus. It's literally the principles were there. And Napoleon Hill studied, and we're not talking about a 1-hour interview. He went through 20 years, for a year he would be with Thomas Edison, and I remember he asked the question, you failed at creating the light bulb 10,000 times, but yet you kept pushing forward. And Edison's response was, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I found 10,000 ways not to do it. So he didn't look at it as a failure. He looked at it as a learning experience. And that type of mindset, really changed things. Henry Ford, the first chapter of Think and Grow Rich is thoughts are things. Henry Ford's got an amazing quote: whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you are right. And that chapter 1, I mean, that's, as simple as it sounds, that's the basis for creating that mindset of success principles throughout the entire book. So if you haven't read that or listened to it on audio, I highly recommend you pick that one up. And then John C. Maxwell, I've had the pleasure of doing some trainings with Mr. Maxwell on stage, sharing stages, and in front of quite a few people. And his book, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, is second to none. The law of the lid. I mean, it's something where you need to kind of look at yourself as the CEO of your own empire. If you look at yourself as just the hourly wage worker, that's the type of people you'll attract into your business. And there's nothing right or wrong about that. But if you're going to build an empire, you need to attract senior vice presidents. You need to attract CFOs. You need to attract other CEOs. And so if you see yourself as a CEO, that's how you're going to start to recruit and build your organization of other marketers, drivers, restaurants. You're going to bring on leaders in a big, big way. And so these are just some of the books and audios. There's numerous, I didn't have time to list every single one of the books that have impacted me, but these are some major ones that I'd recommend picking up, listening to, or reading, over the next 12 months. I mean, it's something that you should make a habit of educating yourself and continuing to better yourself. And these books will definitely help you do that. Not only do you need to read the information, go through trainings like this, but you need to apply the knowledge. I always heard from people, knowledge is power. And my mentor, you know, he respectfully, one of my first mentors, I've had a few of them, but I mean, I've had two mentors that were billionaires. And one of those mentors, he said, you know, it's not knowledge is power. The application of knowledge is power. And he told us, he said, knowledge is not powerful until it's applied. You know, he would ask a question of a room, you know, he'd be training a room of 10,000 people and he'd say, you know, what's 2 + 2? And it's funny, but not funny, but most of the room would be quiet. And you'd have a few people that would say 4, you know, 2 + 2 is 4. So what does that mean? That, you know, 12 people are the only 12 out of 10,000 that knew the answer to 2 + 2 is 4. And, you know, the other, you know, 9,000 plus 9,900, you know, 88 people are ignorant. They have no idea what no, that's not the case. Everybody in that room knew what 2 + 2 was, but only the people that actually sounded it out and spoke it in you know, into the world came across as intelligent. So, you know, with this type of business, as we train people, which, you know, with the recruiting training, we were pretty specific at the end of that training, what you needed to go out and do. You know, the first thing is build your list. You know, so the question I ask if you went through that recruiting training is, did you start your list? And if you didn't, you know, you need to, but you'll come across as ignorant if people look at how you're building your business. So they'll look ignorant, lazy, you know, just, you know, doesn't really, you know, have desire, drive. That might not be the case, but that's how it's going to come across if you haven't started your list. Contact 2 people a day and share the videos with them. You know, we have the overview video now on the YouTube channel. It's public. It's under 15 minutes. So have you been sharing that video with 2 people a day? Now, listen, you might have gotten busy and that's fine. But again, you've got the knowledge, but are you applying it? And then, you know, are you sharing it with 10 people a day instead? Are you going above and beyond? See, that's somebody that's got desire. That's somebody that's, you know, really effective, and they're looking to, you know, build that massive organization. And so we want to apply the knowledge that we gain from these books, these audios, from trainings like this, from talks with Bob, anything that he shares with us, we want to apply that knowledge as quickly as possible. And again, don't reinvent the wheel. Most of us have made those mistakes. And that's, I think, one of the reasons Bob has been excited to have me on board is I've been in the restaurant delivery business since 2016. And you know, we were 416 in the Inc. 500 3 months ago when the Inc. came out 2 or 3 months ago, the Inc. 5000, but we were actually in the top 500. And that was after we sold a third of the business to a company called Eat Street out of Wisconsin. And then in July, we merged with delivery.com. The company My Town to Go was our original company. But, you know, that's one of the things I like about Bob. He's not trying to reinvent the wheel. He came to me and was like, listen, you know, give me more details on the operations side of what it takes. You know, it's a simple concept, right? You got restaurants that make food, you got people that are hungry and they don't want to go to the restaurant. So you need a driver to take the food from the restaurant to the hungry person. Really simple concept, but there's a lot of moving parts to that. When you deal with software, when you deal with logistics, when you deal with getting the order to the restaurants, when you deal with customer service, you know, there's things that can go wrong in that operation, and you need to have, you know, some operations and standard operating procedures to deal with any type of issues that pop up. And so, you know, we've made the mistakes in the industry from recruiting, team building. We've done that for many years. You know, Bob's built organizations of hundreds of thousands of people within months. Over the last, you know, 3 years, I've built teams of over 300,000 people worldwide, of sales reps out there recruiting, managing, training sales teams. And so we're here to kind of give you the right things to do to build your business. We're here to help you avoid some of the wrong things to do. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel. The system's already in place for you. Just follow the system. It's a guide that will help you on your roadmap to success. And, you know, as you follow the system, you're going to find all the answers that a new member needs to know just by plugging in and following the system and plugging your team into this system. We're going to have plenty of training calls, things in your back office, documentation that you can follow, that'll help you get a restaurant, that'll help you acquire a driver. That's all going to be in place. Just follow that system. And there's going to be 3 types of people as you bring into the business. As I do trainings like this, I want each and every one of us to look at ourselves as the CEO. So as you're following this training, understand you're the leadership, you're the CEO, you're doing things the right way. As you recruit and build your team, some of the people are going to do things the right way and be teachable and trainable. Some people aren't going to be as teachable and trainable, and you can't really control that. You've just got to create that system where they can win. The first type of person is going to say, I got it. They're going to go out and do things their own way. That's going to happen. I assure you, there are people that are going to do that. They're going to make all the same mistakes that I made in 2016 in the restaurant delivery business, saying the wrong things to sign up restaurants, saying the wrong things to bring on drivers. They're going to make the same mistakes I did when I got into affiliate marketing, 20 years ago, and started trying to recruit people. They're going to say too much. They're going to say the wrong things, and they're going to be overwhelmed. And normally their friends, their contacts, restaurant owners, they're all going to say no. They don't want any part of what this person's doing, and they're going to quit. And that's just going to happen. And there's a lot of people that are unfortunately like that. They're not going to be teachable. They're not going to be trainable. They're going to do things their own way. They're not going to find success. They're going to get discouraged, and they're going to bail out. And we can't stop that from happening. That's the nature of the world. Some people win, some people don't. We climb to the top of the mountain. We try and help people get to the top of the mountain, but we can't drag people to the top of Success Mountain. It's just impossible. The second type of person starts out the same as the first. They want to do things their own way. They make the mistakes. People that they try and bring on as restaurant owners, people that they try and bring in as marketers are going to say no. But instead of getting discouraged and quit, it motivates them. They become more teachable. They become coachable. They start to learn from the system that's in place, and they go on to be greatly successful. And most top leaders start out as this type of person, the second type of person, where they want to do things their own way. They do some of the things their own way. They run into some roadblocks. And then as they run into those roadblocks, they start to seek out leadership that can give them guidance. They start to follow that guidance. They start to follow the system. They start to find success, and then they plug into that system and never plug out of it. I mean, that's one of those things where they won't ever unplug once they find that formula for success. And then every now and again, you get that third type of person that follows the system. They avoid all the initial mistakes and the road bumps. And system, we kind of say it stands for save yourself some time, effort, and money. And if you follow the system, it will definitely save you a lot of banging your head against the wall, so to speak. Be teachable and coachable from the start. You'll find fast success. Your team will earn large bonuses and commissions quickly, and the residuals will be substantial in the first few short months. And so as you recruit individuals, if you find someone that you bring into the organization that is that third type of person that's following the system right away, you want to immediately contact the leadership you're working with and connect them up. You want your leadership working directly with people that are teachable and coachable. And as I said when I started this call, we don't necessarily find leaders, they find us. So you bring in 3 marketers, 2 of them are struggling. 1 of them signs up 5 restaurants their first week. You want to connect that person with your leadership. You as a leader want to start working directly with that person. You want to spend your time with that person that brought in the 5 restaurants. And I know human nature is, but I should spend the time with the other 2 that are struggling. Not in this game, not in business. In the business world, in the world of success, you always work where you're deserved, not where you're needed. That's what's going to create the most momentum for your organization and the most success. The other people, if they watch what you're doing, they will see you working with people that are getting restaurants and being successful, and they'll either start following the system and become teachable, or they'll be that first type of person that gets discouraged and quits. We can't stop that from happening, but if they're not teachable and coachable, it's just a waste of our time to share information with them and to really plug into them directly if they're not utilizing and applying the knowledge that we're giving them. So you find those people that start to follow the system, you work with them even more closely. We can't teach experience. So the bottom line is that person that went out and got those 5 restaurants, they just did it. They followed the system. They did it. Now they have more experience. They're going to be better when they go out and try and sign up their next 5 restaurants. It'll happen even quicker. You can spend your entire life trying to learn everything before taking action, or you can learn by taking action. Learn by doing and applying. That's what I did in the restaurant game. I'd never been in the restaurant delivery business. I hadn't. We started in the restaurant industry and we just wanted to deliver for our pizzerias in a few different cities. And there was no restaurant delivery service in Topeka, Kansas. That's where we started My Town to Go. And the bottom line is that, you know, the first restaurants we walked into, we got laughed right out of them. Oh, I didn't know what to say. You know, hey, do you want us to deliver your food? You know, I didn't know. I had no script. I had no idea what I was doing. I went in, I did not get the restaurant signed up. So when I walked out, I took notes and I was like, don't say this, don't do that, don't do that. That doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work. Restaurant owners were asking for materials, marketing materials, information. I didn't have any. So I was like, all right. And, you know, I took a note, need marketing materials. And I learned from going in and getting blown out of the water. And, you know, the one pages that are in the back office, we created those. We rebranded them for Trip Delivers, but they were created for my initial restaurant delivery service because I knew the restaurant owners needed something because they were telling us what they wanted. And so we created that one page, and, you know, we went into the restaurant with the one page and we told the story. And next thing you know, the restaurant owner was like, hey, this sounds pretty good. I want to partner with you guys. That happened. That started to create that system that we utilized to go out and acquire restaurants. So we went out there and stunk at it, for lack of a better term, initially, but we learned from our mistakes. We got better. Now, the beauty is you don't have to learn from our mistakes. You can literally follow the system right out of the gate. You don't have to go in there and fail immediately and say the wrong things to the restaurant owners. You can use our system and say the right things from day number one. So that's a little bit better than I had it in 2016 when I stepped into the industry. As Wayne Gretzky says, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. The only way you hit a home run is to swing the bat. The only way you score a goal is to take a slap at the puck. The only way you hit a three-pointer is to fire from behind the arc. So, you know, unfortunately in business, so many people aim, but they never fire. They just go through trainings. They go through the information in the back office. I kind of call it ready, aim, 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 aim. Paralysis by overanalysis. You don't need to know everything before you go out and start taking a swing for the fences. I always say, you know, ready, fire, aim. When you have unlimited ammo, you know, which we do, you can literally talk to anybody about becoming a marketer. So if you're going to go out and fire at marketers, you can go after them as quickly as possible, and you can aim after you're firing. Start taking shots. And as you miss, you'll see I'm missing to the left, pull your aim to the right a little bit and keep firing. And eventually you're going to hit the target. And once you start hitting the target, you hit it over and over and over again. You must miss before you can hit. That's the only way the business world works. Shoot, miss, shoot, miss, shoot, miss. Adjust your aim after every miss, shoot, hit. And so as you're going out to get marketers, follow the system, do things the right way. But trust me, even if you're following the system to a T, you're going to improve every time you go out and start to approach someone about becoming a marketer. You'll get better and better and better. And eventually your ratios are going to go up. You'll only succeed after repeated failure. And once you start succeeding, you're going to succeed more and more and more. Stop aiming, start firing. We have the tools in place that you need to win. Just start utilizing them. And I assure you, you'll start winning. The other thing you're going to want to do after you educate your organization is you're going to want to motivate them. And unfortunately, you know, people are self-motivated or they're not. And we can drive people to motivate themselves a little bit, but over time, you're going to find out who the leaders are and who eventually is self-motivated. But all we can do is our best to give them that foundation to win. And, you know, one of the things that'll motivate people is why they're doing Trip Delivers. You know, what's driving them? What can we help them accomplish? And so when I sit down with a new person, I very seldomly, almost never ask someone what their goals are. The only time I would do that is if it's somebody I've been working with for years. Because if I've been working with them for years, they already have goals that are set. And, you know, I need to know what they are. If I've been working with them for a few months, I might, you know, have told them to set goals or whatnot. But most people, if you ask them what their goals are, they've never really sat down and thought about what their goals are. Now, if you ask someone, what do you want to accomplish over the next year of your life? A lot of people think about things like that, especially coming up in January. With New Year's resolutions, a lot of people are going to think about what they want to accomplish in 2021. And so I ask them, What do you want to accomplish personally? What do you accomplish? What are you looking to accomplish, for your family? And what are you looking to accomplish with your overall lifestyle here in 2021? And I'll find out, if people are wanting to replenish their retirement that's been, struggling over the years, if people are looking to increase another stream of income because COVID's been rough on their business or their career. I want to know that, if people want to travel more and spend more time with their family, I want to know that. If people want to give back, if people want to take care of their mom and retire their parents, I want to know that. Their lifestyle, if they want to upgrade their car, if they want to upgrade to a new neighborhood, if they want to send their kids to private school, I want to know those things, because it's those type of driving things with their personal life, their family life, and their lifestyle, their overall lifestyle, that will drive them to walk into the next restaurant when they are tired and they just really want to go home. It's those personal accomplishments that will drive them to reach out and send another Facebook message to a friend about watching the Trip Delivers video when they really just want to turn on the TV and veg out for a while. So if they're thinking about that new house that they want to get, if they're thinking about putting their kids in that private school that they've always wanted to give their kids the best education, that's what will drive them to do things that maybe they don't feel like doing, but they know they should be doing if they want to be successful. So I want to find out what's driving them internally, because success requires discipline. Discipline requires commitment, and commitment is always internal. And so the why is going to be internalized for any leaders that we bring into our organization. And we should know what that why is so we can help them tap into it when they're looking to be successful. And one of the things I learned from my mentor when I first started in the industry was these 3 rules. And I'll share them with you. And they're rules that work to be successful, not only in business, but about anything you want to accomplish in life. The first rule is pay attention. The second rule is get excited. And the third is never quit. And these rules are pretty simple. Pay attention to the right people. So if I want to learn how to play the piano, it doesn't have to be business. Again, this is any aspect of life. If I want to learn how to play the piano really well, I need to find someone who's amazing at playing the piano. Now, I might not get as great as they are, but if they're amazing, they can probably show me how to be pretty adequate at playing the piano. So I pay attention to that person, and I want to get excited about playing the piano. If I'm not excited, then I'm going to quit. And the third rule is never quit. So I've got to be excited, not just get excited, but I need to stay excited. And the best way to stay excited is to be around those people that are successful. So if you want to get great at getting restaurants, I can help you do that. I've literally got within our organization have signed up thousands of restaurants. And so we're going to do trainings after our duplication training. Our next training is going to be on restaurant acquisition. And it'll be a 1-part training on that, but there'll be several trainings that cover restaurant acquisition. But the first one is going to be, all the basics of acquiring a restaurant. And the reason I'm confident that I can train on that is because I've acquired thousands of restaurants around the country, from mom and pops to national accounts with companies like Subway, Chick-fil-A, Texas Roadhouse. We've done national deals and we've done local deals. And I've dealt with all different aspects of that. And so I'm pretty confident that I'm successful at acquiring restaurants. So if you pay attention to someone that's successful at acquiring restaurants, you're excited about acquiring restaurants, and you follow the system and don't give up, you are going to acquire restaurants. That's the other beauty of being successful in this type of business. We're not asking anyone to do something superhuman, right? Like LeBron James does things on a basketball court that none of us can do. I wish I could, dunk a basketball with 2 hands from the free throw line. I wish I could drive down the lane and literally score against NBA teams at will, because that's what LeBron James pretty much can do. Steph Curry does things that I can't freaking possibly do. I can't walk into a gym and start draining threes from the doorway. I mean, he hits them from anywhere on the floor. It's almost uncanny. So, when you look at someone like LeBron James, you look at someone like Patrick Mahomes with the Chiefs. I mean, he's doing things. His no-look pass, I mean, he's flinging the ball 60 yards in the air off his back foot. Like that's not humanly possible for almost any of us that are on this Zoom training or this YouTube webinar training, but he's doing it and he's making millions of dollars to do it. So if you're asking us to do it, it's impossible. We'd get crushed in the NFL. Our first drop back in the pocket would be a problem. I'd probably throw an interception if I was lucky enough to get the ball out of my hands before I got smashed by the defensive line. So the beauty of Trip Delivers is you don't have to have an arm of Patrick Mahomes. You don't have to be able to jump out of the gym like LeBron James. You don't have to be able to shoot the rock like Steph Curry. You don't have to have some kind of God-given talent that no one else on the planet has. You just have to be teachable and trainable. You just have to have discipline. You just have to be committed to your cause, and you will acquire restaurants, you will acquire drivers, and you will acquire customers and other marketers to go out and build your empire. Just pay attention to the people that are doing it well, get excited about following their lead, and don't give up. And you will build a successful business with Trip Delivers. And the last part of this training is going to be how to duplicate not only you doing it and achieving success, but people within your organization doing it and achieving success. And that's really the magic of the compensation plan with Trip Delivers, is not doing things by ourselves, but getting an army of people together with us who can help us achieve success. And that's when you create leverage, and that's when you truly create wealth for not only yourself, but for your family and for generations to come. So we'll cover that duplication training. Our part 3 will be Wednesday, December 16th. That'll be in the evening, 6 p.m. Pacific time. We'll send out the information for that training here shortly. And obviously we'll send out reminders throughout the week. So I definitely appreciate you guys sharing some of your time with us to go through this process to duplicate our organizations. Obviously, recruiting is extremely important, and you should be building your list out if you haven't already. You should be sharing that video with your list if you haven't already. And for the education side, for the motivation side, you should be going through those books and those audios. You should be applying the language and the system that you're learning here today. And if you do those things and you follow it and follow this system, you're going to have success. And if you plug into this final training of part 3, you're going to learn how to not only be successful yourself, but how to teach your organization how to be successful. So I'll turn it back over to Bob, and I'm sure we'll be around to chat and kind of fill in any blanks that people have, and look forward to obviously the next training on December 16th with each and every one of you, and hopefully some of your new team members that you bring on between now and then.
Hey, Tony, what a great presentation. Got to tell you, knocked it out of the park. I hope everybody that's on this call really understands what we're doing as a company and the commitment that Tony has made, I have made, to educate, to help you build the tools you need. The biggest single tool you need, though, is confidence. You have to have confidence, go out there, and that's what Tony's trying to teach you. You can fail, it's okay. It's not even a failure, it's a learning curve. When he talks about professional athletes, he's talking about the top of the top in the sport. You can be on this game at the top of the game if you just step out there, get out of your comfort zone a little bit, and you can make it work. The tools he's giving you and the real world experience, you can't buy that. That's why we're having these. We want you to be successful. We want to give you the tools that make you successful. That's why he's doing the 3-part series. That's why he's going to be doing the restaurant recruiting, how to get restaurants on board. We're going to be doing trainings every week forever, because we know there's going to be new people coming on board. There's going to be people that get out. There's going to be people on residual income that are just going to say, you know what, I'm good. I'm good. I know what I'm making every month. It's supplemental income. I don't have to go further. So they'll kind of just keep what they got, and then other people will pick up the slack and start growing. But we have, like I said, a lot of people coming back. We've been running some Facebook ads for free. We keep telling you guys about this. If you want to get drivers, we've got over 70 drivers in the queue sitting there. We're delegating those out, and those are going out to the marketers, people that signed up as marketers. We give you free leads. These are people that actually inquired to sign up with us. So we've already set up a system internally. So if you're a marketer, you're getting leads. But don't think you're going to get leads and you're not going to have to react to them, because that person that wants to be a driver for us, we need to sign up. So you need to be proactive and get them on board. Get there with a sense of urgency, and you're going to find out how success really works. And it's the same thing that Tony was talking about. It's never quit, keep working hard. You'll get where you want to go. It's just hard work. It's not easy, but it pays off in the end. If you look at what he was talking about, successful entrepreneurs between the Rockefellers and the Carnegies, and the same mentality exists today between, the Zuckerbergs and, all the other successful entrepreneurs out there in this time and age that are worth amazing amounts of money that they built for themselves. That opportunity is still here. That never changes. It's just the way the world works. It's you just got to get involved, get your head on right, and make it work. So keep in mind, we have drivers. So if you're going to be a marketer, you're going to get free leads from us, or you can run your own Facebook ads for free and recruit that way. We need drivers. We got to activate drivers.
One thing Michael wanted me to say, and you just said it again. So there's a difference between Facebook ads and job posts.
Yeah, these are job posts.
Right. So Facebook ads are paid.
Yeah.
So I guess that's how we confuse some people last
Yeah.
week.
So these are Facebook job postings.
So you make a page.
Yeah.
And you make a job post.
So I want to give everybody kind of a real world experience that I had in the last 7 days with a guy that's on the team, Darius McCrae. He's here in Las Vegas. I met with him twice in the last week. Just so you know, he's an Amazon Flex driver, and he's signed up as a trip driver. He's taking advantage, or not even taking advantage, he's building his team to do exactly the trainings that Tony has gone over. Right now, he has 7 team members that he's personally recruited over the last 30 days. They go out every single day signing restaurants up. Darius wears a tie, wears a white shirt, Trip logo on it, sewn, very professional. He's dedicated a certain amount of time every single day to be in the field. He has a stack of training materials, which he's taken and printed out of the back office. Some of he's actually built himself. He trains his people how to go call. They get to go on calls with him. They watch him, and then he turns them loose. Now, he gets activity with those people. He signed up restaurants. His goal, his personal goal, if I told you, you wouldn't believe it. But he'll with that team, sign 100 restaurants probably over the next 30 days at the clip they're going right now.
Yep.
So it's very doable. This guy is just committed to doing, and he has multiple jobs that he works because he has a family and all that stuff. So, COVID hasn't been easy on people. But he's in there every day. He's got a great attitude, always smiling. And I can't say enough about him. He's just terrific. So I have spent 2 days with him now in the field, and it's a pleasure to work with somebody that's committed. Let's see. Oh, one of the things we're doing, which we were testing that most people don't know, we tested a little ad about how do we help the restaurants save their business? Because clearly there's going to be about 250 to 300,000 restaurants that will never open again because of the COVID. It's a slaughter. You're talking about the restaurant industry employs about 15 million people in the United States. There's 1 million restaurants, and you're talking about 250 to 300,000 may never open again. Now, that doesn't mean that they're all going to get wiped out to a degree. Food still is a primary function of living. So there's going to be other restaurant types, whether they're ghost restaurant, cloud restaurants, are going to fill that void over time. But it's really disastrous for the restaurant industry. So we're, one of the things we do, and sometimes we don't even look at it. We had a social media person contact us and said, you're going to save restaurants with your business model. And you say that internally, but we're not saying it externally. So we're going to build a little, ad that we're going to run around the United States, and it's going to join the movement, help us save restaurants. And we do, because the drivers get 100% of the ride fare. And in our model, the restaurant keeps 100% of the profits. So how good is that? Yeah. So if we can build a movement that drives that virally around the United States, but it takes energy. It's exactly what Tony said. When we make the video, then you need to share it on your Facebook with everybody and get them to share it with everybody. We have an opportunity to help a business. that thrives in the United States when things are good. Unfortunately, they're not good right now and they're getting crushed. But we can help bring them online faster. I just read 10 minutes ago before the call, the first vaccinations will start on Monday. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And hopefully by the time we roll out of the first quarter, you know, maybe the society starts opening up again, restaurants start coming back online. It's going to be a process to get everybody inoculated, but it's there. And we have the opportunity to help it whatever way, if it's just talking positively or helping by, you know, if you have food that you want, you can order from the local restaurant that may be underwater. There's just so many things we can do as human beings to help our fellow man. And it's on us. It's incumbent on us, because somewhere in our lives, somebody helped us, right? And so we need to share that and go back. I'm going to take a couple questions. I'm going to flip some. Oh, they're still not working. Oh, there's no.
Only one question: where is the training?
Oh, where's the training? Yeah, the training, it will be posted in YouTube channel, and also it'll be, what's that?
It's always on YouTube.
No, I know that, but we should post in the back office.
No,
Maybe.
he's asking the training you're going to do Wednesday.
Oh, where's the training? It's on Wednesday. It's on our channel, YouTube, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So, Tony, you got anything you want to add to the folks?
No, I mean, you know, we've got some people that are out there following the system. We've got people that are having success, and you know, ideally, you know, as Bob said, we are going to be doing these trainings. It just won't be us. You know, some of these guys, you know, like Darius, he's going to be better at getting restaurants than me here in no time flat. So, you know, he's going to be doing the restaurant acquisition training here pretty soon. You know, we're going to look for successful people that are following the system, that are getting the results, and that's who's going to help train the organization globally, because they're winners. You know, they're following the system and they're showing and proving that it works by getting the results. And so eventually some of you guys that are watching these trainings are going to be, you know, doing these trainings obviously for your own team, but eventually, you know, you could help the company train globally, and there can be incentives for you to do that as well. And so, you know, we're looking for the next leaders that are going to help us get to the next level with Trip Delivers, and a lot of you that are watching this training today are going to be those people. So we're excited to help you guys develop, and any support we can give, we're here to do that.
Hey, thanks, Tony. Really appreciate your knowledge, man. You're the best. You're a great presenter. I know these people are just getting a lot out of it. I got a lot of feedback last week about the training. And this is, like I said, this is part 2 of 3 parts. You're going to see continual training from Tony and myself. And as we start ramping up the business, we'll start finding those key people, key leaders that love to train all. We'll give them airtime and let them help you guys, and Q&As and all that kind of stuff. Because at the end of the day, if you're educated, you're going to have the power to make good decisions. Like you said, you can apply that power and be successful. Okay, guys, with that, I think we're done in 48 minutes, which is a record. So thanks a lot, man. I'll catch up with you a little bit later, Tony. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.